Right now on IUSTV News Debate Night, former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris are set to face off in tonight's presidential debate. What to look out for?
Plus, Monroe County Sheriff Ruben Marté is pushing back. We have an update on the legal battle between the county and the state's Attorney General.
Plus, IU sets another enrollment record for the Bloomington campus. We have the numbers from across all IU campuses. We are just a few hours away from the first presidential debate between former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ashton Hackman.
And I'm Carson Johnson. You're watching IUSTV News. The two candidates will take the stage in Philadelphia. It's the first and potentially only debate before Election Day.
Lee Waldman explains how both candidates are approaching tonight's debate.
Just over 2 months ago, President Joe Biden, the presumptive Democratic nominee, faced former President Donald Trump on an Atlanta stage.
We finally beat Medicare.
24 days later, Biden announced his exit, vaulting Kamala Harris to the top of the ticket with a burst of momentum. But now polls show a tightening race.
It was inevitable that her rise would run out of steam. We live in a deeply polarized country where partisan identity is critical.
The Harris campaign coming out swinging with a new ad Tuesday designed to grab the attention of both voters and her opponent.
This weird obsession with crowd sizes.
As the vice president says she's prepared to face an onslaught of lies and personal attacks from Trump on the debate stage.
He plays from this really old and tired playbook, right? Where there's no floor for him in terms of how low he will go.
But the Trump campaign expects the former president will stay on message.
He has to focus on what he has focused on primarily throughout the whole campaign trail, talking about bringing down inflation, talking about securing that southern border, and making sure that he holds Kamala's feet to the fire for 50 days.
Both looking to sway those undecided voters who hold the keys to victory in November.
I just have to watch the debates and see. And I don't know if I'll really know until it's time to actually vote.
In Philadelphia, I'm Lee Waldman reporting.
Tonight's debate starts at 9 on ABC. In the meantime, former President Trump says he will vote in favor of a Florida ballot measure that would legalize adult recreational marijuana use. Trump took to Truth Social calling for the end of what he says are needless arrests and incarcerations for small amounts of marijuana for personal use. His position goes against the views of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and other Florida Republican leaders. Trump also called for the Florida legislature to make laws that will prohibit recreational pot use in public places.
The legal battle between Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita and Monroe County continues. Now Sheriff Ruben Marté is calling out the AG. The lawsuit is centered around how Monroe County deals with illegal immigrants. Rokita claims the county is violating state law. In a new court filing, Sheriff Marté says the department's policy is nearly verbatim to what state law says. Marté is not only saying Rokita is in the wrong, but argues that the lawsuits should be tossed.
Indiana University's Bloomington campus sets another record for enrollment this year. This fall, IU welcomed just over 24,000 new undergraduate and grad students. Applications for the Bloomington campus went up 25% from last year, welcoming the second largest beginning class of over 9,000 students. With welcoming these new students, IU Bloomington's new class represents growth of 24% over the last decade. IU marked another achievement this summer, officially surpassing 1 million degrees awarded since its founding. The millionth degree was among the graduates of the summer session. IU's first class consisted of only 10 students. Now the university is the largest in the state, with nearly 90,000 students across all 9 campuses. The university reports there are nearly 800,000 living alums around the world.
A Bloomington man will spend the next 16 years in prison for pleading guilty to dealing fentanyl that killed another man nearly 5 years ago. Otis Hicks was handed a 20-year sentence but given credit for being in jail since his arrest in 2020. That is November of 2020. Court documents say a man died in March of that same year from a fentanyl and meth overdose. Police used Facebook messages showing a drug deal between Hicks and the victim, who died the day after.
Bloomington police arrested an 18-year-old a month after he allegedly pulled a gun on Taco Bell employees. Phillips Hicks is charged with several felonies, including possession of a stolen gun and pointing a handgun at others. Police say Hicks and another man got into an argument with employees at the West Side location, and at one point Hicks pulled the gun. He was found by police nearly a month later. Police are still searching for the other man. A southern Indiana father is in jail for allegedly beating and pointing a gun at one of his own kids. Indiana State Police say this man, 24-year-old Austin McGill, was watching his 3 children on Sunday when he hit his 8-year-old stepdaughter with a loaded gun and then pointed it at her. McGill turned himself into police the following day. He's being held in the Gibson County Jail on several felony charges.
Bloomington Fire has been awarded a $75,000 grant for its mobile integrated healthcare program. The department will use the money to buy a new car for 2 community EMTs and to buy an off-road vehicle. The Mobile Integrated Healthcare Program was launched in 2022 as a way to provide additional medical services that may not require the need of an ambulance or fire truck.
Apple announces its newest iPhone to hit the market.
Still ahead, a look at the many features the latest model will bring, including Apple's take on artificial intelligence. Plus, a new update on the Idaho murders case, why the parents of one of the victims are disappointed with the decision from the judge.
But first, a new study shows Indiana's population is on the decline. We break down the reasons why when we come back. Former private citizens are heading to space. The Polaris Dawn mission lifted off early this morning from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The space flight is expected to be the highest any human has flown since the Apollo program. The crew will also attempt to conduct the first ever private spacewalk.
Research shows that Indiana's population will heavily decline in the next 4 decades due to the mortality rate increasing. Populations grow and change due to migration and natural increase, which is the number of births and deaths in the state. The annual number of deaths in Indiana is outweighing the number of births. The expectations for population growth are starting to decrease for a few reasons.
The biggest reason why we're seeing life expectancy decline and mortality rates rise is, I think the biggest is because of the opioid epidemic and just a growing number of Hoosiers who succumb to drug overdoses.
The projection of Indiana's population growth over the next 40 years will be lower than the past decades.
A judge has granted a change in venue for the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students in 2022. The judge ruled Brian Kohberger would most likely be unable to get a fair trial for the extensive news coverage after the killings. The family of one of the victims called the decision incredibly disappointing. Kohberger is facing the death penalty if convicted. His trial is scheduled to begin this coming June.
We continue to learn more about last week's school shooting in Georgia that killed 4 people and injured 9 others. Police say the mother of the 14-year-old suspect, Colt Gray, called the school with worries over her son on the morning of the shooting. Gray faces 4 counts of felony murder and is held without bond. His father, Colin Gray, faces 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. Police say Colin Gray allowed his son to have access to guns despite a warning from police last year.
Apple's new iPhone 16 will have the tech company's own version of artificial intelligence. The new phone will also have a customizable action button that will replace the current mute button. It will turn the flashlight on or off, open the calendar, or even translate speech. Apple said the phone will also have a physical button for easy access to the camera just by sliding your finger. Apple also announced a new model of AirPods that can now be used as hearing aids. This is pretty interesting. The company says the Series 4 AirPods will have a longer battery life and stronger active noise cancellation. A new feature will also allow users to take a hearing test through their AirPods. The Series 4, though, starts at $129. The new version with noise cancellation costs $179. Both are currently available for pre-order and will be available in stores come September 30th.
A large water main break in Brooklyn led to a massive sinkhole that nearly swallowed a car. The car was pulled from the hole and towed away this morning. Many residents of the New York neighborhood are now without water. The leaking water main was eventually shut off. The cause of the water main break is still unknown.
Award-winning actor James Earl Jones has died at 93 years old. Jones' career spanned more than 6 decades with roles across television and on Broadway. But more than anything, he is known for his incredibly low voice as Darth Vader in Star Wars. Jones was also widely known as the voice of Mufasa in the animated movie The Lion King. He was surrounded by family when he passed on Monday.
Next on IUSTV News, new data shows tobacco use among young Americans is down. See the findings in today's Health Minute.
Plus, will the gorgeous fall-like weather stick around for a while? Quentin has the answer in your forecast on the other side of the break. When it comes to tobacco use and youth, there's good and bad news. New data shows e-cigarette use has declined in this age group.
In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on the concern and what parents can do to help children avoid tobacco.
Nicotine can be found in all tobacco products.
But it can also harm the developing adolescent brain and also prime the brain for addiction to other drugs. And so it's critically important that youth aren't exposed to these products.
Data from a newly released survey shows a nearly 25% drop in students reporting e-cigarette use the past year. That's about 500,000 fewer youth using the devices, bringing the rate down to the lowest it's been in a decade.
We still have 1.6 million kids who are using these products, but it's still a very important win.
But there's a growing concern about nicotine pouches, which are small and dissolvable and placed between the lip and gum. Experts say sales have been rising since 2016.
We're going to continue to monitor use and also do everything we can to make sure that we do not see any further rises with regard to these products in future years.
To help prevent tobacco use, the American Lung Association says parents should talk to children about the health dangers and the unpleasant physical aspects like bad breath, discolored teeth, and nails. Give them clear, consistent messages about the risks, making them aware of all the products this includes, and set a good example by not smoking or using tobacco in any form. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
A new report found the U.S. is facing an ongoing maternity health crisis. It found 1 out of every 3 counties does not have any OBGYN care. In many parts of the country, prenatal and delivery doctors are leaving the workforce. Some hospitals are also closing their labor and delivery units due to staff shortages and fewer births.
Turning to weather now, we were blessed with some beautiful fall weather over the weekend. It was nice, cool, and comfortable.
A little too cool. Quentin having to walk outside, walk the dog in the morning, jacket was on, thought about putting a hat on, afternoon. Heck no, it was all coming off.
It was beautiful, right? Yeah, that was a part of a warm front that came through, or a cool front that came through, and now we're in a warm front right now. But that's about to change due to some tropical conditions that I'm going to get to here in a minute. As for us today, we're starting with temperatures at 76. But here at midnight, we're going to get to temperatures at 64, with temperatures in the morning at 8 a.m., sunny skies, and at 55 degrees. On Saturday, we have IU football at UCLA in LA. They're going to be experiencing some beautiful weather, with temperatures before the game starting at 69. Then at game time start, we got 65 and sunny. Then by the time that the game ends, we're going to have temperatures at 60 with a couple of clouds, but they'll be dealing with that out there. What we're going to be dealing with is going to be a little bit different. As for our Saturday, we're going to be getting some effects from Tropical Storm Francine that is, having landfall right now in Texas and Louisiana. As it makes landfall, it is going to turn into a tropical depression. And from Thursday in through Saturday, it is going to become a tropical depression. And that is what we're going to have for our week and create all this rain for the rest of our week's outlook. For Wednesday, we're going to have temperatures at 88 with mostly sunny skies. But Thursday, we have some rain chances building to 50% with temperatures at 85 degrees, and then 70% chances on Friday, and then 60% chance on Saturday, 40% chance of rain on Sunday, another morning percent chance at 40%, and sunny skies on Tuesday at 85 degrees.
I'm not going to lie, I don't like any of that forecast.
Well, it was also a train wreck, so, you know. But again,
rain Thursday through the weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be wet, so. But hey, at least you won't have to change clothes all day.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's true. All right, Quentin, thanks. Next in sports, Indiana football dominated in week 2 of the regular season. Allie has the recap of the record-breaking game in sports when we come back.
I thought the second half we really established even more dominance.
And record-breaking dominance it was. IU football continues on in the regular season, still undefeated at 2-0. Another busy weekend in sports for the Hoosiers started off with a historic night for the IU football and finished with a disappointing loss for men's soccer. Let's start with football. It was an old-fashioned Friday night beatdown as your Hoosiers football team walloped Western Illinois with a score of 77-3, breaking a team record for most points scored that stood since 1901. The Hoosiers also set a new record for total offense with a staggering 701 yards. Curtis Rourke dazzled with 268 yards and 3 touchdowns before leaving the game. Elijah Starrett finished as IU's leading receiver with 6 receptions for 137 yards and a touchdown. Backup quarterback Tyvin Jackson also shined, including a 69-yard touchdown pass to Omar Cooper Jr. Despite a brief hiccup allowing Western Illinois into the red zone, Indiana's defense, led by Elijah Hardy's Pac-6, closed strong in the games, highlighted Indiana's depth and athleticism, with 323 rushing yards and contributions from numerous players.
The only thing I wasn't pleased was the end of the half. We let them, kick a field goal. But it was good. There were plays out there, and we threw and caught the ball well and protected well, and that's, our goal. We wanted to clean those penalties up and protect the quarterback better than we did last week.
IU hit the road to play UCLA in Los Angeles. Kickoff is set for 7:30 Eastern. Despite a disappointing 2-0 loss, Dayton, Indiana's men's soccer is staying focused on the long-term picture. Head coach Todd Yeagley, in his 15th season, is not worried despite the team's 1-2 record. He points out that this last season's shaky start didn't prevent the Hoosiers from winning the Big Ten double and reaching the NCAA quarterfinals. Yeagley remains optimistic, highlighting that it's still early in the season. While the team has struggled consistency, especially in their first halves, they are set to kick off Big Ten's play against Rutgers on Friday. Yeagley believes in his team's potential and is not hitting the panic button just yet. And that's all for sports. Back to you at the desk.
All right, Ollie, thanks.
And Quinn's back for one last check of the forecast.
For sure. So for Wednesday, we're going to have that one last full day of sunshine. And then Thursday, we'll see those clouds build. And then from Thursday to Monday, we're going to have those rain chances. And then Friday and Saturday being our heaviest percent chances, with 70% on Friday and 60% on Saturday, with those percentages dwindling on Sunday and Monday. And then by Monday afternoon into Tuesday, we'll have that sun come back with temperatures at 85 by the end of the week.
Quentin, you told us before this that we might have a wet weekend, but I didn't know you meant a wet entire week.
Well, it's the heaviest percentages are on the weekend, but that's for you to deal with. I knew it was going to rain. You had to figure that out yourself.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome, actually.
Thank you, Quentin.
You're welcome.
Thank you for watching IUSTV News.
For updates between newscasts, check out IUSTV.com, and we look forward to seeing you back here next week. Take care.